Welcome to your full body stretch with a strap class. Hi friends, I am Katie Arnold. Welcome back to my channel. Today's class is going to be a really gentle practice that we are going to literally just stretch it out using a strap. Now, if you don't have a strap at home, that is totally fine. A great alternative could be a scarf or a longer towel or something that could just easily mimic the strap. We're not using the clasp at the end in any way, so we're just using this as a long strap, literally. So if you need to go grab your strap or some kind of alternative, go ahead and do that. If you would like to grab a blanket, I have one here. I'm just going to use it to soften the surface. We're going to have this practice or have a part of this practice either in a kneeling position or seated. So if you want to elevate your hips in any way or soften the surface beneath you, grab anything that you need for that and meet me right back here. All right, so you'll see that I laid my blanket underneath me. I still have it folded up a few times. It's just there to help soften the surface. So then meet me in a seated posture. So whatever seat works for you. I'm choosing to sit in hero's pose today. You don't have to. You could sit with your legs crossed. You could have a block underneath you, whatever works for you. But just start with your hands resting down on your knees, shoulders relaxed down the back. Find some length through the spine. And if it feels comfortable for you, you can close your eyes down entirely. You can just soften your gaze on an unmoving point. I invite you to take some physiological sighs, just a big breath in through the nose and a big sigh out of an open mouth. If that feels good, you could take a couple like that and just using that to help release any part of your day that you're ready to let go of. This practice is all about creating space, about opening ourselves up, creating space in the physical body, but we can also take that and think about the space that we can create in our minds and our hearts, opening ourselves up to abundance, to expansion, to seeing ourselves as having this ability to invite in infinite expansion. And so if you want to introduce an intention or an affirmation, that could be, I am an instrument of infinite expansion. I am an instrument of infinite expansion. If that lands with you, you can share it with me. If it doesn't, that's okay too. Just a couple more breaths right here. And now we're going to take that strap. And so you're going to want it fully unwound. And we're just going to take our hands out nice and wide. So how wide that is most comfortable for you is going to be a little bit different for each of us. But take those arms out nice and wide. Reach the arms up and overhead and then down towards the back. We're just going to, this is called shoulder flossing. So we're going to inhale, lift it up towards the ceiling, and exhale, arms come down in front of us this time. So just moving back and forth. There's no real specific breath practice that I'm offering up here. So just moving with your breath, moving with the pace of your breath. Inhale, we can lift the arms up towards the ceiling, and exhale, lower them down. Inhale, lift, arms up and overhead, and exhale, arms come behind you. Take this a few more times. Moving on your own, moving with the pace of your breath. This feels so good for my arms today. I did an arm workout yesterday and I'm really feeling it. So if you're in that boat with me, enjoy this. Enjoy it. Let's take 2 more just like that. Last one. And then as you come back to the front, arms are going to stay the same, out nice and wide. We're just going to lift those arms up and overhead, and then take the right arm down towards the mat. So we get a nice stretch along that left side. Left arm more or less straight up towards the ceiling now. Inhale, lift it back up through center, and exhale over to the other side. Left arm, that left hand does not need to be anywhere near the mat. Mine's not, but it moves in that direction. And so we can take these back and forth on each side. So you might take it just moving with your breath. Maybe you pause and you hold for a breath or two. Choice is yours there. I want you to get out of this practice what you really need, what feels good in your body. It might look a little bit different than what feels good in my body today. Two more breaths. Maybe that's just one more on each side. Maybe that's finishing it up so you feel nice and even here. And back up through center. All right. So I'm going to turn to face the other way so you can see what I'm doing here. We're coming into cow face arms. So I'm going to take that strap in my right hand and take that right arm straight up towards the ceiling. Bend at the elbow so the right hand comes down about at, where your neck is at. And then we're going to take that left hand and find the strap. So depending on how things feel for you, that left hand might be further down on the strap, or you can start to walk the left hand closer towards the right. For some of us, we might not really even need the strap. We might be able to find that the fingertips can bind here. So I want you to find what works for you here. Think about pulling that right elbow up towards the ceiling. Maybe coming back to that intention, that affirmation. I am an instrument of infinite expansion. Opening ourselves up. One more breath on this side. And gently release. We'll take that over to the other side. So left hand is going to take that strap, take it up towards the ceiling and bend at the elbow. Take that right hand around and grab onto your strap. And now each side is going to be a little bit different. So for me, I can grasp my fingertips on both sides, but it's definitely easier on the other side. So maybe I work myself there today and I start with that strap and I just let my hands kind of climb closer towards one another as more space becomes available, should that be the case. Put left elbow up towards the ceiling, really breathing into that left tricep. No judgments for where we may be in our practice. No judgments for where your hands may be placed on that strap, or if you find that you don't need the strap. All we are doing here is meeting our bodies where they're at today. We use this strap as a vessel, as a support system. Last breath on this side. And gently release. All right. So if you happen to have grabbed a blanket, you could fold that blanket back up and sit on the edge of it. Or again, you don't need to sit on the edge of anything, but we are going to extend both legs out in front of us. You can take that strap with you if you would like and loop it around the bottoms of your feet. And then I sometimes like to wrap it around my hands. And I want you to first flex the toes back towards your face. Find a long spine, ground down through those sit bones. Take a big inhale breath. And as you exhale, you can start to fold forward using this strap to help you. And then inhale, find a little flat back, halfway lift. And exhale, maybe you fold a little bit deeper. And for some of us, you might lose the strap here. Maybe it's more comfortable for you to grab onto your feet, onto your ankles, onto your calves. Maybe it feels better to take peace sign fingers and grab onto your big toes. I don't really care. Find what works for you. Find the forward fold that feels really nourishing, that feels like expansion. If that's with the strap, great. If it's not with the strap, great. The strap is just so nice to have nearby. And sometimes when we're feeling especially tight, or we are getting started in our practice, or coming back to our practice after a long time, or just wherever we are in this season of life in our bodies, props, whether that be straps or blankets or blocks or bolsters, they help support our practice. They don't mean we are a better yogi if we are not using them. It doesn't mean that we're not as good of a yogi if we are using them. These are just beautiful vessels to help meet our bodies where we're at that day on our mats. And I love the use of props. So take another full round of breath here. And then slowly inhale, lift yourself back up. And if you are sitting atop a prop now, go ahead and slide that out of the way. And we're going to take that strap and come all the way down onto our backs. So I'm spinning myself around, it'll make sense in a little bit for you. But take that strap, wrap it around the bottom of that right foot, send that right foot straight up towards the ceiling. One end of each strap in each hand. Right toes flexing back towards the face. Enjoy this nice hamstring stretch. Now we're going to take both ends of your strap and bring them into the right hand and start to open that right leg out towards the right. I like to take my left hand to the top of my left hip, and you're just going to take that right leg as far out as is comfortable for you. So if you're like me and you're short on space because you have a wall in the way, this is where it can be a little nice to kind of spin ourselves around, make it work for us. And then inhale, lift that right leg back up towards the ceiling. Take both ends of the strap into the left hand now. And you might have to slide yourself over a little bit. We're going to start to drop that right leg over towards the left. So you get a nice stretch all the way down the side of the right leg, and you're probably not going to go very far. I definitely am not, but that's okay. Just meet yourself where you're at, sending that breath to all the places you might feel tightness. And then lift that right leg back up towards the ceiling and into your chest to release that strap. I'm going to, for the same reason, just flip around to the other side, but we'll start to take this to the other side. So bring that left knee into your chest, strap around the bottom of the left foot, left leg up towards the ceiling. I like to wrap the ends of the strap around my hands just for a little bit more leverage. And depending on how open that hamstring is, you might keep that right foot down on the mat. You might extend that right leg long. You can kind of play with what feels good, or depending on your space. And take both ends of the strap into the left hand now and start to drop that left leg out towards the left. And lift that left leg back up through to center, both ends of the strap into the right hand, and drop that left leg over towards the right. So crossing that left leg towards the right. And you might notice one side feels a little bit easier than the other, and that's okay. And lift that left leg back up through center. Bring the knee in towards the chest. Release your strap. Set it all the way off to the side. And then extend both legs out long. Arms resting down beside you. Just a few moments in a Shavasana. Eyes can soften down. You might give yourself a moment to come back to that affirmation. I am an instrument of infinite expansion. Giving yourself a moment to just check in with the body, noticing if it feels like there's a little bit more space. A big breath in through your nose. Sigh out of an open mouth. Gently wiggle fingers and toes. Roll the wrists and the ankles. Maybe take a big good morning stretch, reaching long fingertips to toes. And rolling over onto your favorite side, finding a fetal posture.
Giving yourself one more moment of support and stillness. And as you're ready, press into your hands, meeting me in a seated posture. Whatever seat works for you here. Take another big breath in through your nose. Sigh it out. Inhale, sweep those arms out nice and wide, palms meet overhead. Exhale, let your hands come down through heart center. Thank you so much for joining me. Om Shanti. Peace. Thank you so much for joining me for this practice. I hope you are feeling more open, more expansion, and just generally feeling really good after that gentle practice. So if you want to take all the ads out of these practices, knowing that I have no control still as a small creator on YouTube, I have a small membership that you can get all of my YouTube classes, all of my guided meditations completely ad-free every single month. So the link for that and all the details is in the description below. And if you enjoy practicing with me, but for entirely free, the link to my free daily practice calendar is also in the description below. I take all the guesswork out of your practice by telling you what to do every single day. Makes it really easy. So if you're not already subscribed to my channel, please take a moment to do so. I'm so grateful to share all of these practices with you. Let me know what you're working on in the comments, and I will see you back on your mats for your next practice.